So the problem with writing or rewriting a diary and publishing it, a la Samuel Pepys, is that you're then sort of bound really by what's in these covers, whether you wrote it or whether it was written by Oakeshott. Doesn't really make too much difference. You commissioned the rewriting, and the problem with rewriting a speech, unless you're Cicero, is you end up with egg on your face. So, for example, Friday, let's just take a page at random. Friday, the 13th of March, 2020. I woke up for the dawn flight to Belfast in an Edinburgh airport hotel that felt like a ghost ship. When we landed, was it the airport landing, the aircraft landing, or the hotel landing? It's not very clear. When we landed, we discovered our media strategy in disarray after Patrick Vallance mentioned herd immunity on the radio. He and the prof have generally been doing a sterling job on the airways, but this morning it all went awry. Quite apart from sounding more suited to farm animals, herd immunity is shorthand for let it rip. And we are very definitely not letting the virus run its course, quite the reverse. Everything we're doing is about delaying the spread so the NHS can cope. And so we can buy time for vaccines and treatments to kick in and save lives. I called the PM and told him that we would have to do some very rapid backpedaling, then rang Patrick, who promised to do his best to repair the damage. Well, that's the limit on Friday the 13th of March for Matt Hancock's conversation with Boris Johnson. Now, in the testimony that Matt Hancock gave, his second testimony, I can't remember, at the beginning of last week, to Sir Keith interjected and said, regarding the pandemic diaries, so stylistically it's not a diary, it is a re-pieced together and called a diary thing. And Matt Hancock says, correct. It's my recollections. Very nice. It's rather like being in love, isn't it? I fell in love. No. There's a particular manner that Matt Hancock has, isn't it? It's rather like a sort of pierced pig. Anyway, when we go to the pierced pig, I don't want to make any reference to Cummings' reference to pigs. And when we go to the 13th of March in the COVID inquiry, this is the day when Matt Hancock has now claimed that he had told Boris Johnson to implement a nationwide lockdown. But there's no reference of it at all in the pandemic diaries. So the idea is that he told Boris, and then Boris finally, 10 days later, implements the nationwide lockdown. It's not in your diary, so-called diary, I should say, says Sir Keith. The entry for the 13th of March makes no reference to you telling the Prime Minister that vital piece of information that he should lock down immediately. There's a whole page on how you woke up for the dawn flight to Belfast, to which Hancock retorted, I don't have full access to my papers. He is rather a pathetic individual. For all the size of this pandemic diary, it's all size and no performance. And now we discover from his own lips that it's not in fact accurate. Well,